My name is Emily Parker, and I am 32 years old. I live in the bustling city of Chicago, where the high rises pierce the sky like jagged teeth against a blue canvas. The concrete jungle is where I have built my life, my career as a marketing executive at a top-tier firm, tailored perfectly to my ambitious and determined nature. For years, I have been the model employee, working tirelessly to climb the corporate ladder without losing my sense of self. I believed in hard work, integrity, and the notion that talent would always shine through. But as I sat in my glass-walled office, sipping my lukewarm coffee, I felt a gnawing emptiness growing inside me. There was something in the air that day, a familiarity of dread that whispered I was on the brink of losing everything I had worked for. Little did I know that a single betrayal would turn my world upside down. It all began with a casual conversation that spiraled into a full-blown nightmare. I had just left a meeting with my team, and I was in high spirits after successfully pitching a campaign that would bring in substantial revenue for our company. I decided to share my excitement with James, my closest colleague, a man I trusted implicitly. We had shared countless late nights, brainstorming sessions, and even a few beers after work. But that particular day, James listened with a smile that felt oddly strained. He nodded along as I rambled on, yet I could sense an underlying tension that I could not quite place. It was later, during an important conference call with the upper management, that the walls began to close in on me. I was ready to present my project, bubbling with enthusiasm and confidence. But just seconds into my pitch, Jenna, our ruthless head of marketing and the one person I had always viewed as a mentor, interrupted me. She casually announced that James would be taking over my project. My heart sank, confusion clouding my mind as I opened my mouth to protest, but Jenna's commanding tone drowned out my attempts. I felt humiliated, my insides twisting as I realized that this wasn't just a simple change in leadership. A betrayal I never saw coming diagnosed my once hopeful thoughts. I was blindsided by the sudden realization that my closest ally had chosen personal ambition over loyalty, using my hard work as a stepping stone for his own success. The meeting ended, but the repercussions continued to echo in my mind. I spent the rest of the day in a haze, going through motions while my heart felt like a stone. My fingers scrolled aimlessly through emails, but I could barely focus. How could James do this to me? How could I be so naive? The betrayal cut deep. I decided then and there that I wouldn't let this slide. I would confront James and perhaps also Jenna. Maybe they didn't expect me to fight back. I waited until after hours when the office was quiet and I approached James at his desk. He looked up, surprise flitting across his face before it disappeared behind a mask of indifference. "Emily, I did not expect to see you here this late," he said lightly, as if we were merely discussing project notes. "You backstabber." I blurted out, rage and hurt pouring out like a torrent. "How could you betray me like that?" His expression morphed into one of confusion, then annoyance. "Betrayal. You knew this project could lead to bigger things. In this company, you have to look out for yourself, Emily." My heart nearly stopped at his words. It felt as though I had been punched in the gut by the very man I thought I could rely on. I took a step back, utterly stunned by his callousness. "You think this is right. This is not who I thought you were. You have been too sentimental. Welcome to reality. What did you expect me to do?" Each word from his mouth felt like a dagger. I felt the air around me thicken with unspoken pain and disbelief. My vision blurred with unshed tears, but I held them back, unwilling to give him the satisfaction. I turned on my heel and walked away, the echoes of his laughter ringing in my ears. The betrayal had ignited a fire within me, a determination to reclaim what was rightfully mine. I began crafting a strategy, meticulously planning my approach to unravel this injustice. I dove into research, gathering evidence of the hard work I had put into the project, compiling emails and reports that showcased my dedication. I even enlisted the help of a few trusted colleagues who had witnessed my efforts firsthand. The days turned into nights as I pored over details, seeking every loophole to exploit. But my efforts were met with resistance. With each small victory, something larger would push me further down, reminding me that in this corporate battlefield there were no easy wins. As I submitted my findings to Jenna, highlighting the betrayal and the lack of integrity exhibited by James, she brushed them off, her cold demeanor sending chills down my spine. "Emily, you need to understand the bigger picture. Sometimes sacrifices must be made." Her words, dripping with indifference, made my blood boil. Frustrated, I left her office, feeling defeated but not broken. It was during a chance encounter with an old friend, Sarah, that I began to see a way forward. Over coffee, I discussed my woes, unearthing the emotional wounds I had kept buried. Sarah, a lawyer, listened intently, her brow furrowing as I recounted my tale of treachery. Emily, you have the right to stand up for yourself. Sometimes all you need is a bold move. It was as if she had flipped a switch inside me. I left that coffee shop with renewed vigor. I approached a corporate lawyer who specialized in workplace disputes, determined to bring my case forward. As I sat across from him, pouring my heart out, I felt the once thick fog of despair begin to lift. He listened as I detailed my story, and for the first time, I felt understood. He agreed that I had a valid claim and set my heart racing with hope. But then, I received a message from Jenna, calling for an emergency meeting. My stomach knotted with uncertainty as I walked into the conference room, only to find my collaborators, mentors, and James awaiting me. I sensed a palpable tension, a storm brewing inside me. Jenna opened the meeting with a confident smile, claiming that we were there to discuss the future of my project. A knot formed in my throat as I tried to decipher her intentions. I understand there have been tensions and misunderstandings, she stated crisply. However, I believe we can pivot this into something even better. I shifted in my seat, the weight of anticipation heavy on my shoulders. It was clear Jenna had recognized my growing influence within the company, but how far would she go to undermine me? With unimaginable courage, I decided to confront the two of them in a twist they did not expect. I stood, feeling every heartbeat pulse through my veins. Jenna, James, you both made the biggest mistake thinking I would just walk away from this. I paused, allowing my words to sink in. I have accumulated substantial evidence regarding the project that holds both of you accountable for your actions. Gasps flickered through the room. You think you can ruin me? Do you have any idea who you are messing with? James sneered, attempting to regain control. I held my ground, fueled by a newfound power. This is not just about me anymore. It's about truth, integrity, and standing up against wrongful actions. The atmosphere in the room shifted. I could sense their shattering confidence. The lawyer I had consulted made an unexpected appearance, revealing he had been monitoring my case, and he echoed my sentiments. With facts laid bare, both Jenna and James found themselves struggling to maintain their facades. Jenna looked visibly shaken, her polished veneer cracking under the pressure. Emily, this is unacceptable, she snapped, but her fury was met with the weight of undeniable evidence. I had turned the tides. It was a victory I didn't expect but desperately needed. The fallout was intense and unyielding. In a matter of days, Jenna was reassigned due to the disputes regarding her management style, and James, facing repercussions for his betrayal, ended up in a lower position. I felt liberated, the deep exchanges finally leading to justice. My heart swelled with triumph, yet I could not shake the feeling of melancholy. I had climbed this mountain, but at what cost? As I sat in my office overlooking the city that once felt so confining, a sense of peace enveloped me. I had learned so much during this twisted journey. It was not simply about revenge, but rather understanding my worth and asserting myself in the face of adversity. And just as I was about to breathe a sigh of relief, my phone alert chimed. It was a message from James, containing a simple yet chilling line. Just remember, this is not over. The twist landed hard, reminding me that even in moments of supposed victory, the shadows of betrayal lingered, waiting for their next opportunity.